Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the podcast then.
Yes. What?
You're recording?
I thought we were just hanging out.
You always surprise us when you're hey, I'm filming this or I'm recording this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a mic.
Or I hired a PI.
That's what you get for hiding under my bed all those nights, Ross. It's just eventually I'm going to go after you.
It wasn't hiding, I was asleep.
That's different.
Well, that's much sadder.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to the cast today. As you can see, it's not the Robo Reviews cast, which we'll go over in a bit. Right now we have here Ross and Sean.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey.
And perhaps Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle's here.
Yeah, hey, what?
Or they can decide to say bird, blast and a half. To kill this damned spider!
That made no sense. What are you talking about, Kyle?
No.
What?
Never mind. We'll keep him in the corner.
Sounds good. All right, so yeah, we'll start with the name crisis. Those of you who follow us on Facebook will know that we are actually looking for a new name for the whole website. I mentioned last time we talked about what the Hobo Reviews thing was about. It was GoDaddy, when I couldn't pay for the old site, roboreviews.net, acquired our site. So they own it now, and they're not going to give it up unless I pay them $300, which I thought was a one-time fee. So I thought I would set up a fundraising campaign and be like, hey, Hobo Reviews, blah, blah, blah. Actually, no, that's $300 a year. So that is very much out of my reach. And talking to people more and more, I get the sense that Robo Reviews doesn't make people think of video games right away. More robots. So
why would they think that?
I think it's because most of them work at a robotics company.
That is true.
That's kind of a bias there.
Hawaiian-sounding robotics company. For those that know which company we're talking about.
But so I'm trying to think of something new. I'd very much like to keep the robot mascot. In fact, I'm almost insisting on keeping the mascot and trying to think of anything that'll fit to that. Some sort of robot, bot, anything you want to add to it that makes it sound gamey.
Rock'em Sock'em Gaming.
Because the image of that would be awesome.
Yes.
The popular suggestion to date
like
has been Pixelbot. The only problem with Pixelbot is there is a design company by the same name, and they are pretty established. And also, anytime I look up Pixel on Google, everything that comes up is design. Because when you work in design, everything is in pixels. In video games, pixels are a thing of the past. But I do like the idea of pixel and 8-bit because I love 8-bit, as you can tell by the aesthetic of everything that I do. I love 8-bit, the chip tunes, etc.
He even has a block on his shoulder.
I refuse to laugh at that, Ross.
Kyle thought it was hilarious, though.
Yeah,
so
Kyle, stop laughing.
Yeah.
It's just obnoxious at this point.
Yeah.
Now that we're done with the name crisis, we'll go ahead and start on the news.
Yay, news!
Gears of War prequel has been speculated on.
Yay?
My opinion is strong. If it existed, it would be.
Ouch.
It's technically only still rumor status, but the official Xbox magazine has decided to report on it. They figure there's sufficient news.
Officially
info.
maybe happening.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What do you got? I mean, it's inevitable. Gears of War is basically the new Halo, where even if they say this is the last Gears, it's never going to be the last Gears. They're going to keep making Gears of War games until John DiMaggio keels over, and even then they'll just get someone else to do a grumbly voice.
Yes.
I just want to see more games starring Bender.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's if people liked his performance as Joker enough in the Red Hood, he might be.
Hey.
Mark Hamill said that he's not going to
do it anymore.
He's not going to do the Joker anymore, which is sad because that means the only other Joker that I feel is the Joker is stepping down. It's like once Kevin Conroy says he's no longer doing Batman and Christian Bale says he's no longer doing Batman, then Batman's dead to me.
It should be, but it never does. They decide to keep it going usually.
Because Kevin Conroy is the only voice of Batman.
He kind of is. I'm saying they changed the actor in the movies. I think 6 times we've seen different actors play him in the movies, and now we have Kevin Conroy has been doing it since 1989, I think.
And it's funny the
few
animated features where he's not Batman are just any other voice. I'm like, who is this? Who's under the cowl this time? Did Robin just decide to get under there, or
It's Adam Baldwin coming in as Superman. Even then, I'm still I
yeah.
love Adam Baldwin, love cartoons, but when you replace the voice actor, sometimes it's a little off. It's like my favorite Family Guy joke of all time is the now we have wrong sounding Muppets, and that's how I'd feel. That's how I'd feel if Kevin Conroy wasn't there. Yeah, which is completely on topic for Gears of War.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know. It's, maybe there's a game. I don't know.
We'll find a little segue.
If they do any more, I'm not sure if they're doing any more Arkham games. I actually also read a news story which I don't have prepared, so I'm not going to go into it completely. But apparently, the next Batman game is going to have a different aesthetic entirely. Huh. It's going to have a much more comic type feel.
From Rocksteady.
Yeah, it's still Rocksteady, right? Please tell me that.
Not entirely sure on that, but
no way to edit
because they've done such
together
wonderful things with the Arkham series. It's just you just can't move past that. But even then, I think they would absolutely have to just say we're going to take a break from Joker for a little while if they plan to do that.
Yeah.
As much much as he's like the arch villain overall, like there's so many great villains with amazing storyline capacity. Like you could just do you could do a full trilogy just with Mr. Freeze as the villain that you side with, because he's got a compassionate cause, and he occasionally makes decisions that benefit the heroes because he's not a bad person. He just goes about things in the wrong way.
Yeah, he's one of those. It's like, hey, you know what? We're cool. No pun intended. I swear. Yeah, you're not that bad of a person. You've gone through a lot. You've got a problem. But wait, what are you doing? Why are you freezing all those people? Oh, you're destroying a bank. Everything was going so well till you broke all these laws.
Had a fundraiser. Just say, hey.
I'm Bruce Wayne. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that. Shit. But I actually, Bruce Wayne, I could have really helped you out with the research money. Oh.
Seriously, like instead of shooting down the Batwing, just say, hey, could you donate that to my cause of saving my dying wife?
I'm looking forward to when my grandkids are confused by the idea of Mr. Freeze, because thanks to global warming, we won't have ice, okay? By the way, I need someone to let me impregnate them so I can have grandchildren to be disappointed.
No, just donate your sperm.
There we go.
That'll work.
And then Mr. Freeze freezes the sperm bank.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so we're going to go into my bit now, because you guys might not have any interest in it, but it is a worldwide, undeniable phenomenon that if you haven't got into, or at least looked into, very silly of you, Minecraft.
You don't know what it is?
No, I know what it is. I'm trying to figure out why I should care.
Did you like Legos as a kid?
I loved Legos as a kid.
Do you like video games?
I do.
I think it's that things both.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
No, I suppose. Whenever I try to explain it, it's always very complex. I very, very much wish I had my best friend Riley here. He's the one who got me into the game back when it was still in alpha. He's been playing it for ages, since alpha. He attended Minecon, came into town for it. He just has all the info there is to have on it. I just have what little I know from just doing minor research, but I'm just going to run a few stats for you. Heyo!
Pun central here today.
Just some stats. I've seen this on multiple sites, so I'm not sure exactly who to quote. I saw it on BuzzFeed most recently, but they get almost 242 billion logins a month.
Damn!
They have 1,000 logins per hour.
Jeez.
4,000 logins per second after the 1.0 launch. Mm-hmm. 2 billion files downloaded by the launcher. And 11,000 skins downloaded in the game per second.
So
wow.
I'm pretty much the only person that's not playing Minecraft.
I'm not playing it, but I'm aware of it.
No, even if you played it for a short amount of time, it's just terrific. I'm lucky enough that my friends have a server. Like you can do the independent crafting thing like that, but it's just your world's constantly... When people build their stuff, it affects your world. And we have it set up where there's a machine. It has the conditions inside to spawn monsters, but it spawns them right on top of lava, and then there's a flow that captures the items and spouts them out to one specific spot that you can park a character and just farm.
So you've gone industrial on monster murder.
You've
automated killing monsters.
You need to watch top 10 things that have been done with Minecraft. It is insane. Even in alpha, right when they introduced the circuitry system, someone built a basic computer. Built a processor. It's acres large, but nonetheless, they built a computer out of Legos. It's insane.
Ooh, I just had a good idea for the new website name. If you like to automate killing monsters, why not Lazy Gamer? I'm going to log in and watch monsters die. Not kill them myself. I'm just going to watch them burn to death.
It's not for the... You don't see them per se. It's just meant for farming the items that are ridiculous to find. I need a bunch of gunpowder to make dynamite. Let me kill a bunch of creepers. No, just farm them.
So don't play the game like it was intended. Do that instead.
Yeah. Break the game.
But make
it easy as possible.
The creator Notch, he's aware of these things, aware of the way people break the game, so to speak, and he allows them to continue going on. Anything that just ruins the game, he doesn't allow, but anything that just sort of people can expand the game they want to. Because there's no end goal. There's no, people have all kinds of mods where it's you can fly around and teleport places, and you have all the blocks available to you just for creation, He's just about expanding the game to where anybody can want it to go. There's no way to break the game, so to speak. It's just you do what you want with it to have fun.
It's kind of turning into this generation's Second Life. Remember how Second Life got really big for a minute?
But Second Life was retarded. It's like The Sims, but there's no point to it. It's just you exist.
Exactly, whereas in Minecraft, there's a point.
No, there's a point. It's to create. You create.
See? He keeps going with it.
You build and create. You find more stuff. They're constantly adding content to the game, so there's more and more... The world's infinitely large. You can never finish exploring it because it constantly generates around you.
This is what's going to cause the singularity. This is going to be the thing that makes the computers. Someone goes around the entire world, and the computers become sentient.
Well, you technically can if you just set your movement speed all the way up. You can watch a video of someone just going through a created world, but it's hours long, and they're zipping through it. Not necessarily entertaining, but I mean, it's possible. Which is very much what Minecraft is about. It's about what's possible. It's like, hey, we added this minor mechanic to the game, like pistons. When you activate the piston with a switch or whatever, it pushes out a block that way. And people turned that into, oh, we have pistons now? We can use that to make a 3D printer that uses the lava and the water to create cinder blocks, and the pistons push them out.
Again, people are going into the industrialized... These are our future leaders, folks.
Yep.
The Minecraft people. It's like,
it.
they're going to start hiring people from major corporations out of Minecraft. Look, we need a guy who thinks outside the box. Well, I know a guy who drops dinosaurs into lava and uses a piston to turn them into a cinder block. We're going to hire him as our
He's
CEO.
a genius.
There's not dinosaurs.
See, but there's no dinosaurs yet.
No dinosaurs
until somebody
yet.
builds one.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring this up, Minecraft, of course, is not news. But Marcus Persson, also known as Notch to the community, he's the creator, founder. He's been running the whole show up to this point. He is stepping down as the head.
What?
Jens Bergenstein will be stepping up as the lead, and he's going to apparently take a break and then start working on his next project.
Yeah, he's been doing this for ages.
It's been a long
Time to move
time.
on, yeah, I would say.
It's independent game people. It's amazing when you read about how long they work on something like Braid. Still one of my favorite games. To hear how long he worked on that game, how many hours he put into it, over 3 years by himself, and when you play it, it's so polished and wonderful and great. Yeah, the amount of time these people put into it, it's their passion. It's beautiful.
No, Braid is spectacular as well, which made me all the more sad. And he was like, I have no intention of doing anything else with this. Anyone else can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm done. The story is just nonsensical enough to barely grasp at it and, kind of come up with your own reasoning.
It's about the atomic bomb, okay? It's about the atomic bomb.
Not completely literally. There is that aspect to it. I suppose we can get into this another time, or maybe we can...
We'll have a deep philosophical Oppenheimer discussion next time on lazygamers.net.
No, not Lazy Gamers. And we're not going to do a .net. The whole point is to get away from the .net as well.
But that's where the cool kids are.
No, that's where... .nets are like the second raters. Like, yeah, we got their second... Go on.
Yay! Yahoo.net.
All right.
It doesn't search
It
for
doesn't
stuff.
really do anything that Yahoo does, yeah.
I suppose we can move on from the news and just start talking about...
Yeah, I have a gripe before we start talking about anything important.
Hey, let's go with the gripes.
Yeah. Achievements, the most worthless thing in a gamer's existence, but they're so important.
Yeah.
No, they're
like,
obscenely
but they're worth... No, I mean it literally. They are worthless. They have
Yep,
no
absolutely.
worth. But we spend our time for them. So when I have a game like Rock Band, we just had a big Rock Band party. We played, I'm not exaggerating, for 6 hours. Guess how many achievements I unlocked? 0.
No fail mode, you can't unlock anything.
You can't unlock anything in no fail mode, and it forces you into no fail mode when you play with all the instruments. So to get any achievements, you'd have to back out, log in with only 3 people, play this song. Then if you want to play with the keyboard, you have to log back in. So for 6 hours, and I completely forgot. One of my goals was, hey, before we start playing, I want to knock a couple achievements out. Let's never happened. Never happened. So we played for 6 hours and got nothing.
No, I really wish that even if it was like 1,000 points of achievements equal 100 Microsoft points, just even if it's some obscene exchange rate, make them worth something like I remember there was rumors going around that they were going to do something like that. Like once you surpassed 20,000 points, you get a T-shirt. Like just something.
So then everyone's gonna play Airbender to get a free T-shirt.
Yeah. And it was the same thing with like King Kong, one of the first Xbox 360 games. You turn on God mode to get the achievement.
Such a worthless game.
Something I suppose I'd like to talk about as well is what every game console suffers from because of not only the hype, but also every single website that needs to match the hype, but there's no content because all launch games are terrible. They have to take the least terrible game and call it the best game ever.
Yeah.
Give it the same score as they gave a legitimately terrific game 4 months ago. Yeah, like King Kong. Very, very terrible game.
Yes.
Was like a 9.5 average.
Well, my opinion on game scoring in general is, let's not even get into that. It's
pretty bad.
I don't think you should be giving. I don't
You
think
mean like Game
points.
Informer's 8 to 10?
No, I just don't.
8.3.
Yeah,
kind of good,
8
but
to 10,
not really.
Unless it's an obviously bad game that's just being like universally lambasted, then they're like, oh yeah, we have the guts to give it a 6. Like
I just don't
6.5
think.
actually. 6 is kind of low.
I just don't think we need scores. I'm saying people look at a number and they go, oh, that's how good the game is, and they don't read anything about it. And it just bothers me to no
Well,
end.
I mean, for a number per se,
I'll go to Metacritic.
what I generally Metacritic exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Which To get a teeny bit off topic, but that's why I can't stand a site like Rotten Tomatoes. Because Rotten Tomatoes is good versus bad.
It's a yay or nay.
If you review games like that, the scale
everything would be 100.
Oh, yeah.
The game would be 100% all the time, because
Yeah.
no one gives anything less than a 70.
Exactly.
That's one of my problems with game reviews.
But that's actually one of the goals that I set out for this website, was to never implement any sort of rating system. I never want to be like 9.5 out of 10. No, I don't want to be that guy. I really wanted to do was just say, if you like this kind of game, like this kind of game. Which was really nice when I watched an Extra Credits episode about game reviews and kind of what they liked and didn't like about current game reviews, and one of them was they didn't like the numbering system.
Yeah.
And what they liked to see more is, if this game that we're talking about now, you'll like it if you like these games here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a 5-star idea. That's a 5 gold star idea right there.
Yeah, no, if you could have like a system purely set up where you could basically match up like spiderweb games out and be like, if you like this in this genre, and maybe
you might
even
like
cross
these
genre.
kind of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the reason that
Amazon.com.
I think the reason that no one does anything like that is because we're gamers and we pay attention. I'm saying, let's be honest, probably 80% of quote unquote gamers pay a lot of attention and know what's going on and are not surprised when a game comes. I've never heard of this Gears game.
Yeah,
what? We all know about it, so I don't think they put in that effort to do that. But yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, even though 80% of gamers aren't surprised about games, they're not surprised about games within their narrow scope.
Yeah.
Generally, the person who plays mostly live arcade games isn't going to know when the next Modern Warfare map pack is going to come out.
I do not know this information, correct.
Exactly, but I could tell you when, I'm looking at Battle Block Theater for a release date every single day. I go to their developer blog, so when that comes up, I'm going to have that set, take it off work, etc. to get that game right when it comes out. But
that's a good name.
99.9% of gamers aren't doing that. Especially when you look at the majority of gamers, the games that sell a trillion copies, your FPSs, your Gears of Wars, your...
Kyle's a pretty strong opinion on this, too.
You're fucked. Beat res-style frame corrupt to show new peeps over to the house. Essentially the same. Awful pilot's voice.
Really?
Yeah, that was... Okay.
Okay.
I have to ask why.
Don't ask why.
I suppose we'll move on from the gripes. In lieu of us talking about what games we are currently playing and what we're not playing, as those probably haven't changed in a week, as we are not professional video game reviewers who spend 4 hours on every game that is available.
I wish.
No, that's not the way to play games. That's how Assassin's Creed 1 gets a 7, when people don't have enough time to enjoy the game. I love how Penny Arcade did sort of talking about that. When they played the first Assassin's Creed, and they were like, we loved this game a lot, we have no idea why it's getting these lower scores. And they realized it's because people who only have 4 hours to play the game before they have to have a review in a couple of hours, they didn't get to run around, explore the city, do the fun stuff like climbing up the buildings to do the eagle's eye view, and then
finding all the little flags.
Well, going back in my head, one of the reasons was that is people were panning that game long before it came out, and Ubisoft kind of held back, and I don't think they gave out early review versions for that one. And then people were just lambasting that game long before it came out, just because they had a couple glitches of demos at E3 and CES, and they gave them crap about it, and it's like, you haven't played the game yet.
Yeah.
That's
and
garbage.
Then I think that stuck in people's minds.
Go figure. Today, it's one of the more popular game series out there.
It's definitely one of the most well-known, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Every friggin' year we get a new one.
That's not a bad thing. But continuing, is there anything anyone wants to bring up specifically at the moment? Anything right off the top of someone's head that's coming out in the near or distant-ish future that maybe we didn't mention on the last podcast?
Asura's Wrath.
We mentioned that.
We mentioned that? We went through that?
It's okay. It's worth mentioning again, because he has 6 arms.
Yeah, he's 6. You punch people and you heal yourself and you grow arms and you punch them, and then the guy stabs you while you're falling from the moon onto Earth.
Yep.
You see, I actually did...
All of that actually happens.
Just before the recording of this podcast, I was able to take a look at the video, and I am extremely impressed by Asura's Wrath.
Ooh, that's a good domain name, Asura's Wrath, gaming.net.
No, because that's probably both already taken. And when we don't provide Asura's Wrath content every day, we just talk about hey, this is my Voltron review. They're going to be like, no, what is this? This is awful. This is the opposite of what I wanted.
Which is, according to the reviews, Voltron is pretty awful.
That's
so
right, yeah. I still wish I'd play it. It was $10 and I get to play as Voltron. That sounds okay.
That's good for you?
Yeah.
That's all you want?
And
you can go to a swap meet and get an actual Voltron toy.
And who knows, maybe the 5-player co-op is pretty cool and maybe they didn't get a chance to play it. I mean, a lot of the reviews that I do, I don't get a chance to do the complete multiplayer, which is a bummer. like with my Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet review, I really, really, really wish I'd been able to play it with 4 players, because if you watch the review, I mentioned that with 2 or 1 player, all of the multiplayer modes are virtually unplayably difficult.
Yeah.
It's just really hard, but I imagine with 4 people, you see in the demos when they're playing, it looks really fun, because you can actually kill the stuff that's on the screen before it murders you.
Yeah, that's a kind of on a gripe of mine. Like, I don't get to experience the full Portal game because I don't have any people, Kyle, that are willing to actually play multiplayer with me. Yeah, there's a lot of games out there like that.
No, dude, seriously.
Splosion Man, it took me months to find someone to play Splosion Man co-op, and we went through the whole game in a night. It took us like 9 hours.
Fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Nice.
Any Beyond 2, though, just becomes, like, tedious.
Well, you'll read about that in my Rayman review, where I tried the multiplayer with some coworkers. Yeah. There's no need for 4 players in that game. There's no need for 4 players.
That's just a mistake that people make. It's the popularity of Castle Crashers, I almost want to say, that people saw what 4-player co-op can be in, like, a simple game, and they went, oh, well, can we add 2 extra players in addition to our 2-player co-op? Let's do it then. Just throw it in there, because
we have
it
the
can
technology.
Work. Yeah, right?
Yeah, but the problem is they throw it in every single genre now. Mass Effect's got multiplayer. I mean, every single game has got a new multiplayer mode that...
There's like 4 Pong paddles on the screen at once. I don't know what's happening.
It's ridiculous.
No, but yeah, I mean, just as far as 4-player co-op, as much fun as 4-player Castle Crashers is, and how much that made the game for me in every sense of the word, the fact it was a great game, but what made it epic for me was that I beat it about 10 times, each time with a different group of 3 other friends. And 90% of the time, those people weren't like gamers by any means. Maybe it was like me, another gamer, and then like just, significant others of the people that were around or whatever. And yeah, all you have to do is walk forward and mash A and you're set.
It's pretty simple, yeah.
My brain goes back to games like, I'll date myself here, Gunstar Heroes.
Oh, yes.
Never played it.
I love that game.
Yeah, I was like 12 when that came out, and we lost a week into that. And then like the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games for like Super Nintendo and stuff, where all 4 players. Yeah, I had tons of fun with that.
Nice. The oldest one I can remember would probably be just GoldenEye, and that's everyone played that.
Yes,
every single
Golden Axe or GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Both of them.
Golden Axe I played as well. Yeah,
I
used to love that game.
I only played that single player on Sega Channel. Did you guys ever have Sega Channel?
Yes, I had Sega Channel. They gave me the wrong splitter, and it didn't work for a month, and I was sad.
I would have been very sad as well. The worst thing too was when I would play the crap out of one game and then like discover a way better game, but then it was like the day before the game switch. It was like,
yep,
damn it,
Shining Force 2.
Oh yes, SRPG baby. What?
Oh, yeah. My favorite thing was trying to put in the cheat code to control the enemy units as well, but I put in the cheat code to name every NPC in the game, and that was way more fun. Because I was young at the time, to where everyone was like, oh, your butts, your poop, your ass, your...
Best joke ever.
Your butts too.
If there was an internet back then, you would have been popular on it. Yeah. With that type of...
This guy's hilarious.
Yeah. Did you see what this person did?
I was talking about butts.
I was at my local pizza parlor recently, and the Pac-Man game, the #1 player's name is Ass. Oh my.
Oh, hilarious. You jest, Ross.
No, for sure.
So, we'll move on to the games coming out this week, I suppose. Well, actually, it's not as bad as you made it out to be. There's actually a couple of decent things. Well, first of all, the really popular one, the one that's been selling, like, pre-ordering like crazy, like it's a fucking Halo game or something, is Just Dance 3 of all the games. It really lets you see the scope of the casual gamer when, like, Just Dance...
Have you played it?
I have not.
See, then you don't understand. You don't understand the joy of making an ass of yourself.
I understand, like, wanting to do that, but at the same time, for me... I've just wanted to play Dance Central so much that something that's just Dance, I feel like it's cheap. I feel like Just Dance was always like, oh, you're holding the Wii remote and you're pretending to dance. Like, I feel like I could sit down and do that. I would prefer something like Dance Central, where it's Kinect tracking your whole body doing it. I don't want to play the second-rate game. I'd rather play the better game.
The Michael Jackson dancing experience or whatever other friggin' game they come out with this week.
Just Dance,
I liked
Michael
that
Jackson,
for the Avatar items, though, that I discovered. I actually went through all of the video game Avatar items that I had, like, never seen before, like the Michael Jackson one. It's every Michael Jackson music video outfit ever you can have for your avatar.
Yes, Thriller, thank God.
Yeah. No, go through those sometime. There's some good stuff from various games. The Tron Evolution one, it's all the old Tron outfits and all the new Tron outfits.
Swing.
Kyle actually does a really good Michael Jackson impression. Listen.
Kyle. What about Kyle? 2 for 2.
I wouldn't really
No,
call
that was not Michael Jackson at all.
No, it's different. But yeah, now that we're totally off topic again, next I'll talk about
one that
actually...
podcast.
Yes, offtopicgaming.net.
We talk about games, but then
Tangent games.
we don't.
Tangent games or movies or Batman. Dot something.
Or we'll talk about
Whatever.
a bag full of combos next to a Subway cup. I'm assuming
Those aren't combos.
Those aren't combos?
No, they're peanut butter filled pretzels. They're
That's what combos are!
Yeah.
what?
That's a combo!
No, combos were like pretzel filled with stuff, but it's like cheese and other like
Peanut
buffalo
butter?
sauce. Well, these are not combo brand combos, so they're not combos. Cheetos aren't Cheetos if they're like Flavo brand Cheetos, alright? Flavor-Aid is not Kool-Aid. It's never Kool-Aid. Okay.
I need a Kleenex right now. I'm crying.
But anyways, as far as what's coming up this week, Final Fantasy VI for the PlayStation 3 network.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right.
Okay.
That was my favorite RPG growing up ever.
That's
Really?
the Japanese 3, correct? Or is that 5?
No, this is Japanese 6, American 3.
Thank you.
It was my first delving into the Final Fantasy series, and I didn't even play it the first time. Like, I went through the game, like, mentally. It was my older brother playing it, and I got so attached. Everyone else got into Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII did have an amazing story, but I remember, like, people looking at screenshots and the artwork for Final Fantasy VI and being like, dude, that's so gay. Look at the villain. He's a fucking clown guy. I'm like,
Yeah. Come on. He was very Kafka-esque. There's a reason they named him that. Read a book.
The way that I always put it is that he is the first supervillain that I can think of.
He succeeded, though.
He succeeded
Yeah,
in
he
destroying
did.
the world. No villain ever does that. They get stopped at the last second. No, Kefka's just like, world's
wiped
gone.
out.
And goodbye.
Wiped out.
Yeah,
happened
just
happened in Xenogears.
Did it?
Happened in Xenogears. Oh, yeah.
wow.
Not the whole world, but pretty close to
The other
it.
thing I remember of Xenogears was just giant robots, fucking outer space madness.
There's no outer space in Xenogears, but that's fine. That's
Just the last. I remember him trying to get through the last bosses or whatever.
yes, there's 6 of them.
And it was,
And there's like a
Damn, are you serious? 6?
Well,
No,
there's
intense.
it's it's the main boss in the middle, and then around the main boss is 6 sub-main bosses.
Oh, gotcha.
And you have to
You can't
kill
save
at least
between
one.
them.
You have to kill at least one so that you can, because they're just rotating in a circle around him, and you have to
Oh,
kill
so
at
you
least
have a
one.
hole?
So you have a hole to go through. But
Jesus.
you also need to power up a lot, so you have to kill at least like 2 or 3 to really be strong enough. But then you've used up half your supplies. It is a challenge. Fuck you, Miang.
But no, I feel like Final Fantasy VI introduced so many of the great things
Yeah.
that we associate Final Fantasy with.
Yeah, I grew up a Dragon Warrior fan over Final Fantasy. I did not like the original Final Fantasy when I was in 2nd grade and it came out. Dating myself. But
That's true. No, I was
yeah,
gonna say.
I preferred the Dragon Warrior games. And Dragon Warrior 3 was awesome. That was like my favorite. And then Final Fantasy 2 for the Super Nintendo finally brought me into the Final Fantasy world.
That's what got a lot of people into Final Fantasy.
And
I remember.
three I literally took out to on vacation. I think it was Thanksgiving, out to like Colorado to my aunt's and uncle's house.
It's just-
and I just sat in the basement playing that with my cousin for hours.
Seriously, it's
Awesome.
the first one that I can recall having just a soundtrack that I can just listen to over and over and over and over again. Like, I remember the first time when I was on like Kazaa or whatever back when, found like the full orchestral mix of like of the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack. I was just couldn't believe it. It was just
the opera, they still, so much is done with that opera scene to this day.
it's
That sounds
you know,
right.
and when they it was Final Fantasy Chronicles, I want to say, or Final Fantasy.
Anthology.
There you go.
There we go. Final
Boom.
Fantasy Anthology.
Anyway, when they released
How I
that,
pulled
I
that
was
out.
just
Wow.
so
That's
excited.
pretty brilliant, yeah.
So excited to just because that was the first time that I had actually gotten a chance to play through it myself and to grasp the story and everything.
Oh, so you waited till the PlayStation release.
That might not have been my very first time. I might have like gotten a ROM or
Okay.
something like that. But that was the first
That's-
time that I actually played it without like save states and stuff. Maybe.
No, I'll just get my walker and leave in a few minutes.
but
After I take my ginkgo
just
biloba
an
and go watch
amazing-
Jay Leno. Yeah, what a great feeling. Oh, I love that game. Me too. When I played it for the first time when it was re-released, it was...
Yeah, just all the characters, the whole everything. I could sit here and talk about it for hours. And then I remember I used to have debates with my best friend Riley about just like Final Fantasy VI versus Final Fantasy VII, which is better? You know, just like as
You spoke weird when you were younger.
I'm glad you fixed that. 'cause
yeah, it's
that would have been awkward being
yeah,
your
that had
friend.
a lot of social
That
problems.
Fiverr
Yeah.
account would not be
you
as
wouldn't.
successful
You
if you
wouldn't
spoke
gotten
like that.
Well, moving on to the third game of the upcoming releases, and in now probably 25, 30 minutes that we've been talking about Final Fantasy VI. It's a short add-on, but it's worth mentioning. It's for the Defense Grid game. It's just a popular version of like Tower Defense, whatever. It's just an add-on. It's an add-on that's Glay-doss as the enemy.
Hold on. Who?
Yeah, I've...
GLaDOS?
GLaDOS.
Damn it! What, did I say GLaDOS?
GLaDOS?
That's honest to God what I thought it was.
It's going to officially be that from now on.
it.
Folks, GLaDOSgaming.net. GLaDOS.
I guarantee you no one has that.
I guarantee you no one has the...
I think we found it.
It's just a mispronunciation.
There it is.
All right.
No, that is...
No, it's stuck now.
You know, it'd be one thing...
I can spell it correctly with the correct capitals and everything, alright? I pronounced it wrong, and I have been for a while, alright? I'm bad with pronunciation. For the longest time, I was like, hey, I love this collection I downloaded of Frederick Chopin. He's terrific. He is terrific. I love that chopping.
This beef oven. Oh, this beef oven is a delicious, delicious medley to my ears.
Oh, my favorite was, when me and my older brother were reading about Final Fantasy VII before it got released.
Final Fantasy? Because that's what I thought it was when I was 6.
No, it was Sefeeroath, the main villain Sefeeroath.
Sephiroth.
No, I know that now. I knew that once we started playing the game, but just like when we were leading up to the game, like, oh yeah, this villain looks crazy, fucking Sefeeroth. And it was because he said it, and then I just repeated it. Glay-doss. Anyway.
Glay-doss, I think it was. Was it Glay-doss?
Glay-doss.
Glay-doss.
I'm so glad we got that.
Never gonna let that go.
I'll edit it out.
Nope.
I control the edits.
Nope.
No,
We'll bring it up on every podcast if we have to.
Nothing. He
It's done.
controls
So
nothing.
much.
Even
No
Kyle
say
is
in that
cracking
one.
up on
Yep.
that one.
Damn it. Why did it have to be something? I'm wearing a
You wearing a
sweatshirt. I love Portal.
He is. He really is wearing a Portal sweatshirt.
It's my favorite
Whimper
sweatshirt on the
Hurts.
planet.
He's wearing a Portal.
I do enjoy the series.
Have you played it?
I played it.
Then how do you not know?
It's not when they don't say it.
It's verbalized.
No, I think it's
It's not
because...
old school where
I
it's just
think
text.
it's because I considered
What
it
is
just
that
like,
name?
tomato, all right? In my...
No, that's not how anything works, Stevan. No, it's you can't just. I've heard your name plenty of times. I can't change it on you.
No, I understand. I'm saying that's why I didn't catch on. It was just in my head. I'm sure I've said GLaDOS in the past. I'm sure, but I think it was just the very first time I said Glay-doss, and that's just what stuck with me.
I'm enjoying this thoroughly.
We were probably running incredibly long because I've not been timing any of this. We will then now move on to the freestyle round because this is the most disorganized podcast that we will ever have. So I basically have a few things written on a piece of paper. I was thinking, I have the computer here. I'm not going to be too busy talking and trying to defend myself for mispronouncing things. That I'll be able to just look up stuff in between and fill in the gaps. Apparently not, because this is going to be the most rambling podcast ever.
I blame Kyle. I'm saying he's been off.
You just liked...
Kyle, what's wrong?
Made it Earth's perfect fondue. Pick color necessary personally to revive to bug.
I really can't fix that for you.
No,
It's like a personal problem.
That's unnatural.
Yeah, so let's talk about... tell us about Never Dead there, Sean.
Never Dead. Well, what I know about it is that it's a game where you shoot monsters, and as if the title couldn't give this away, you never die.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently the whole mechanic around it is that the fact that when you're shot or consistently damaged, body parts begin to fall off. Legs, arms. Eventually you get to the point where it's just your head rolling around on the floor. And the way you get yourself back up is kind of like Terminator 2, where you just go around, compile your body parts back together, and then poof, there you go. You're back ready to fight monsters again.
But it's not like they attach themselves where they're supposed to go. I've seen...
At first, no. Like if you just pick up your leg, all of a sudden you have a leg attached to your head while it's spinning. This is interesting.
Console,
I will say.
PC, handheld. What is
It's
it?
I think
Probably
it's
multi-release.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like Xbox, PS3.
I have not heard of this, and that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I saw a release date
the
for
name
it.
of the
and
guy
then
who did it, but it kind of looks like Devil May Cry mixed with a little bit of, I guess you could say, Dead Space, kind of like it's just like it looks like it's a horror-driven action game.
Devil May Space.
Oh, sort of like Shadows of the Damned.
I don't know. It looks more action-oriented than that one was. Where it seems like that was just more story.
Rebellion Developments.
Never
directed
I've
by
never
Shinta Nojiri. See, he did a bunch of scripting and designing for a bunch of the Metal Gear Solid games, Police Knots, most of the Metal Gear Solid games.
Police Knots. Wow, there's a... Whew. You've never heard of it, have you? Never. No. Poor.
Police Knots. I've heard of Psychonauts and Astronauts.
I just keep aging.
No, it's true because this looks like the oldest game on the planet.
It's Saturn, isn't it? Or is it Saturn or Dreamcast?
This looks like a Saturn.
God, Sega
I
Saturn.
recognize
That's a
Dreamcast.
throwback.
I had one.
It was available
I did
for the.
too. I had two.
Well, I mean, it was available for systems that were like numbers, so that makes you pretty old.
The NEC, yep, the NEC series.
PC 9821.
Yep.
The 3DO, the PlayStation, the Sega Saturn, and now the PlayStation.
Yeah, I had it on the Saturn. My favorite thing about the Saturn was when you came with a demo CD of just video. There was like a 5-minute video, and you pop it in, it's this big blue face that appears on the screen. It's 5 years till the 21st century, and gaming has moved to disc. Like, that was epic. I had a console that played discs instead of cartridges. It was epic.
My favorite thing about the Saturn was that there was a day my coffee table broke, but I just put the controller down in the center of my living room, and it just worked fine. The controller was very large and round and flat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I remember that.
But I want to hear more about this.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much information about it, but what I do know is it just throws the whole, health bar, regeneration, or any of that completely out of the window. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out on a story, the whole length of a story.
No, I get that. No, it definitely looks like a fun game to play where the mechanics will sort of flesh themselves out and be fun. Sort of. It reminds me a little bit of, what was that game? Where you're the zombie who throws his head around.
It sounds familiar.
No, it's just
awesome.
you had all kinds of powers where you'd have your hand.
If we had
it would you detach your hand, it would crawl around, and you could possess people.
I know what game you're talking about now that you mentioned that.
You bite people, become zombies.
Awesome. I don't know why that would not sell.
That was one of the mechanics too. Is like there'd be parts where it'd be like, oh, there's a bunch of military here. I can't beat the military, so you've got to go in town and convert enough civilians to then have your horde move forward until they overtake the military.
Awesome.
I remember that now.
It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
It came out around the same time as the one where you're the alien who.
Oh, that game was awful though. I did not like Destroy All Humans.
Destroy All Humans.
Or its 7 sequels that were all equally.
Yeah,
stupid.
I think this was the same type of game.
No, that was in the I call it the sandbox explosion. When Grand Theft Auto did well, and every game on the planet was just like, let's do sandbox as well, and then it just did not translate well most of the time. Like you got some gems out there, and like there are still sandbox games coming out these days that are great. But I mean, like the Hulk game was terrific, sandbox game,
and that was it.
from that
on the
era,
good category, that I can remember.
I'm sure there are at least a couple more that were. Yeah, I mean, everyone tried to do like Simpsons came out with a sandbox game around that time where you drove cars around and whatnot.
I liked liked most of those.
It was like Crazy Taxi, but with The Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh, the Crazy Taxi didn't want to know, but the one before the movie game I really liked. It was straight up Grand Theft Auto. It was Grand Theft Auto: The Simpsons.
Yeah,
version.
no, but I could have sworn that was Road Rage.
Is that Road Rage? Okay,
I
liked it.
So yeah,
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Right, yeah.
No, yeah, I remember enjoying it, but I mean, at that time, I could have just as easily liked a bad game. I mean, I'm notorious for that back in my older days. Same thing with movies and just everything. It's like it could have been terrible.
Movies especially.
It's just I have to re-review things. Kind of when I rewatched Dude, Where's My Car for the first time in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just like, how did I think this was funny at all? This is the worst.
I remember the first time I watched that, I thought that was the greatest comedy
Seriously,
ever made.
It was so funny.
Dude, Where's My Car?
That's true of a lot of games too. It's be careful, kids. When you revisit your favorites from childhood and you go, what was I thinking?
You're better off just
it's different from your childhood because it's more like, like the old ball in the cup doesn't do it for you anymore. You've got like video game.
Oh, you're calling me old. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm full of wit today.
Yep.
Full of wit and mispronunciation that will haunt me for the rest of my days.
This is 12 hours of stubble. This would take you a month. You have no idea.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
I've been growing this for 15 years.
15? Or you started shaving when you were 8. Those are our two choices right now. You shaved once when you were 8 and have been growing at 15.
Just gave it a shot. I figured I heard.
What are you doing?
It's just I wanted to make my face bleed. I started to give
There's no hair there. What are you? That's wrong.
Practice.
Let's talk about the new consoles.
Ugh, just all the...
Yeah.
I just re-bought an Xbox 360. I own 2 Xbox 360s.
Yeah, really?
My original one just didn't have enough space, so hey, I could spend $150 on a hard drive, or $250 on a brand new console that won't get the red ring of death. So I own 2 Xboxes. I haven't touched my Wii in a year. I don't need a new console.
Does anybody touch their Wii anymore?
Well, the new Zelda game. But yeah, I don't understand what they can offer. What a new console will offer. We've seen the Wii U, and show of hands, who's impressed? Don't worry, radio audience. No one should have their hands up, but Steven is wrong.
No, I'm impressed with what can be. Whereas the cynical gamers on the planet see gimmick, I see...
Now you did hear 2 hands go up. You got 2 hands up there. Or 3 with Kyle.
But no, here's the thing, is you just have to look to the past. Every gimmick that has ever... Well, maybe not every gimmick that's ever existed, but there's always either a conversion where the games then become like less gimmicky and terrific, or there's at least a handful of games that use the gimmick to enhance the games in such a way that it's great.
I don't want to spend $300 on a console for a gimmick for one game that will eventually come out in 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
Our consoles are at a place right now where they're doing things that, when they were brought out, no one thought they would do. I'm saying they offered 100 gigabyte hard drives on, the Xbox and the PlayStation. Did anyone really imagine that those would get filled up with all this content we have? I don't think so. I think we've progressed.
Okay, like without your Rock Band stuff, what do you really have?
I still have a lot on there. I have a lot of games that I've downloaded directly. I had to buy a new hard drive.
Well, no, the thing for me is, as long as you don't keep those games, like I still have the 4 gig on mine, and all I do is when I download a new game, I delete one that I don't think I'm going to play in the next year.
Yep, and then you can download it again anytime.
Yeah, exactly. And you can download it again anytime because the save files are next to no space at all.
But what is a new console going to offer us? They're possibly better graphics, which we're at a point where the TV is the limit. You know, we're still at only 1080. PC gamers have been saying for, I don't know, ever that their resolutions have always been superior, and they're right. I work in the PC game industry, and they're right.
But I feel like those superior resolutions, when it's this close to your face, isn't as epic, I suppose is the best way I can put it. Like, that's what video games have been going up to. It's not about quality anymore. It's not about, like, oh, it looks better. It's about the experience. I'd rather play a game at, less resolution, but as big as my wall. That's
why you get a bigger screen and you sit farther away.
Yes. That's the simple answer.
Yeah, I have a 30-inch monitor I work with at work that is 2560 by 1660, and when I play things in full, at that resolution on this big 30-inch monitor that sits several feet away, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I don't see yet what a next generation of consoles. I understand the Wii U is bringing new stuff because it has.
But again, it's just a gimmick.
It's more graphics. It's something
control.
To hold. But
Mm.
what did Microsoft? So I think we need to wait till CES and E3 to see what they're actually going to offer because new graphics, more storage. There's nothing yet. There's nothing I can personally imagine that is going to be interesting in a new console.
Yes.
But we just can't imagine because it's not like the new consoles are coming out next summer. It's not that they're coming out the summer after.
Xbox is rumored to be next holiday season.
They said CES they were going to have at least a prototype or something there to show us.
So then I suppose we'll see. I mean, if it's worthwhile. Maybe they're just trying to get ahead of the game like they initially did. Well,
think about it. Like, what do you really want from a new system that you aren't getting already? I mean,
what's
Move
worth
Control.
$400?
We got that on every single one.
What's worth $400 to you right now that you don't have in your gaming experience? If you can't name anything, then they don't need it right now. It's up to them to be the geniuses and the creative people to go, here's what's going to be worth your $400 and go, okay.
Yes.
When the new systems came out, the graphics, the network connectivity, the storage, those were the things that got us excited. Mm-hmm. Where are we going next? Until they tell us, I'm not spending a buck.
Yep.
Well, obviously they're going to tell you, and obviously it's going to have to be something. I doubt they're going to Modern Warfare 3 and just be like, we're not going to tell you anything about it until you buy it and bring it home.
It's a metaphorical buck. I'm not investing.
No, I mean to say...
There, Microsoft, he's not investing.
Like, I don't know. I refuse to believe that they're just going to release a console that has nothing new to it. Because if there's no reason for anyone to buy it, no one's going to buy it.
That's my point, is as things are now, nothing's been announced. I can't think of anything I'd want.
I think that, like, even if they were to release a new console every year, they would delay certain releases. Yeah. No, it would be silly. Yeah. But at the same time,
just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I don't necessarily want that. No, I'm saying, but every year, like, 1 year would have been the Elite, 1 year would have been the Kinect, 1 year would have been the new storage. It would have just been like they would delay stuff for like a big launch, and that's what I feel like they're going to do here. Where instead of just being like, oh, here's a new piece of hardware that you can plug into your Xbox, like, let's just give them the whole package. Let's say this one's going to be boxed with a Kinect, but be priced reasonably to not have the Kinect plus Xbox price. It's going to have twice the capacity. It's going to have twice the processing, so it's going to be possible to do way more.
What does more mean?
That's the thing, yeah.
What does more mean?
Higher resolution,
but if you
frame
think
rate.
There's TV games with higher resolution.
But look at it. Like, if you look at, like, every single console when it jumped up, like, what gave it better? It was always graphics. That's always what it was.
Graphics.
But when you look at a 720, like, honestly, take a look at your TV. Any game that you play, how is it going to get better than that? I mean,
honestly, like, do you honestly not think that
TVs are not going anywhere? No, TVs are not.
3D is the biggest thing they've had. And 3D sucks.
And even then, like, computer games do it all the time where they develop beyond what's capable at that present time. It could be that they'll say, this is capable of doing this, and once TVs catch up to us, it'll be epic.
Here's the thing. TVs aren't going anywhere for 10 years, and the biggest reason why is we have these things underground called cables, and they can only carry so much data, and people have to record things with cameras at resolutions and then stream them through these cables. We're already pushing our networks to their limits because we have 50, 60-year-old cables underground. So guess what? The cable companies, the producers aren't going to make things in a higher definition than they are right now, so we have no reason to buy a new TV. The end.
Well, no, at the same time, but it's the advent. It's the advent of the streaming services. We'll oust cable and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is,
I've been in this industry. I could talk to you for hours about the architecture underground of this country right now. How we.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, I understand this is like not something that's just going to be like, oh yeah, and we'll just tear it up. And
Verizon, Verizon, Comcast, all these companies will have to tear the ground open, lay down thicker, more fiber, and it's costing billions of dollars. They're doing it limit. It's just like the 4G upgrades.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're progressing with 4G at this speed because it's costing them billions of dollars.
Well, I'm wondering when that would be an interesting thing. You know, sort of like right after World War II, we had like that giant surplus for so many years, and then we did the infrastructure and built all the roads. Maybe that'll be our next infrastructure move when we have our next World War and we blow up the rest
data
of
streams.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That'll be our next infrastructure.
Point, yeah.
It'll be like we'll tear up all the wires, and then all of a sudden we'll be like the most connected country on the planet, and then once again have that big advantage.
Well, we want to go wireless,
and then we can move forward again. To move this into the political realm.
Other choices: wireless, which we have no spectrum for, or point-to-point communication, which means we're going to have giant 3-mile tall towers every couple hundred miles, just pointing data down to other smaller collection points. The places my brain can take us.
So yes, that will be the official end of this particular podcast. Now that we've gone,
we haven't
sufficiently over time.
None of this has been edited.
None. This is not at all edited.
Nope.
This is
all live.
This is completely.
So we do.
Just look at your clock right now, and that's the time that we're talking to you.
Well, even with the edits that we don't do, it's gonna sound really rambly and uncut. Next time, I think I'll put together the next podcast like right after we're done here. Anyways, well, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Asura's Wrath.
Yes, you mentioned that actually about 1,000 times. Thank you, Ross. You are the most helpful person in the room. Thank you.
More
Ross.
helpful than Kyle?
At some point, you'll say to yourself, smacks you in the robot squad, blasts rocket ships.
But much more.
Oh yeah, that was
Significantly
useless. That was
Yeah,
useless
didn't
right
help at
there.
all.
Thank you all for listening once again. Stay tuned for the next one. Stay tuned for a new name, hopefully, in the coming days. A new website entirely to visit. Not that anyone, except for spammers, have visited Hobo Reviews anyway. But
Homeless.
it's worth going to the site.
Homeless spammers.
Sitting there in their cardboard box. I disagree.
Why are you? Hold on. Where's my review of Jerry's box? This is Hobo Reviewers, isn't it?
I was looking for the review on the new fortified wine bottle. I was looking for. Well, thank you all for listening once again, and anyone have a catchy sign off.
We were really Glay-doss to see you.
That joke will never die.
It's never gonna die.
Nope.
Take care, fellows and non-fellow ladies.
Ross flank Rayman Origins.
However, Sean Smith, race.
Sorry-o.